Today let us start with chapter photosynthesis in higher plants. Photosynthesis is an anabolic energogonic, that is energy requiring, and oxido reduction process in which the plants synthesize or manufacture their own food. The equation of photosynthesis is 6CO2 plus 12H2O in the presence of light and chlorophyll gives rise to C6H12O6 plus 6H2O plus 6O2. Study of photosynthesis was started around 300 years ago. Experiments to prove chlorophyll, light and CO2 are required for photosynthesis. First experiment to demonstrate light and chlorophyll is necessary for photosynthesis. Take a potted plant and cover 2 to 3 leaves with black sheet and place them in a bright sunlight. After 1 to 2 hours, pluck the leaf and then test with starch. We can see the covered part does not turn blue-black, whereas uncovered part turns into blue-black due to presence of starch. So we can say light and chlorophyll are necessary for photosynthesis. The next experiment to demonstrate CO2 is necessary for photosynthesis. It is also known as Moll's half-leaf experiment. Now let us take a potted plant and half leaf of it is placed in KOH solution. KOH solution helps in absorption of CO2, and while other half is exposed in air. When leaf is tested for starch, exposed part is positive starch, that means it turns blue black, whereas the part which is put in KOH solution shows negative starches, that is it remains pale in color. Now historical account, which is early experiments. First is Joseph Wesley in 1773 to 1804. He discovered oxygen in 1774. The experiment, he saw a candle, a mouse died in a closed bell jar, and when a mint plant is kept in the jar with mouse and candle, the candle continued to burn and mouse continued to stay alive. Conclusion: here plants restore the air whatever the breathing mouse and burning candle remove, that is oxygen. Then second experiment was Jan Ingenhousz 1730 to 1799. Experiment: he placed hydrilla plants inside the water in 2 beakers, one placed in light and other in dark. He observed the small air bubbles in the beaker formed in the beaker which is kept in light, and beaker in dark does not show any change. So we can say light is responsible for photosynthesis. Conclusion: the presence of sunlight is only green parts of plants that could release oxygen. Then third experiments were given by Julian von Sachs in 1854. He found that green parts in plants prepare glucose and store them as starch. Later he showed green substance such as chlorophyll and presence inside the special bodies called as chloroplast within the plant cells. Then fourth experiment was T.W. Engelmann in 1843 to 1909. Using prism, he split the light into spectral components and then he illuminated a green algae, Cladophora, planted in suspension of aerobic bacteria. Bacteria were used to detect the signs of oxygen evolution. He found that bacteria accumulated mainly in blue and red light region. So in blue and red light region, the photosynthesis occurs rapidly. Here equation is CO2 plus H2O in the light of presence of light forms CH2O plus O2, which is carbohydrate. Then fifth experiment was given by Cornelius van Niel in 1897 to 1985. Based on studies of purple and green sulfur bacteria demonstrated that during photosynthesis, hydrogen released from a suitable oxidable compound reduces carbon dioxide to carbohydrates, and he interfered that oxygen evolved by the green plants comes from H2O and not from the carbon dioxide. This hypothesis was later proved by using radioscopic techniques. For here the equation 2H2A plus CO2 in the presence of light gives rise to 2A plus CH2O plus H2O. Here A represents H2A may be H2O or H2S. Correct equation showing whole process of photosynthesis is 6CO2 plus 12H2O under the presence of light and chlorophyll. It gives rise to C6H12O6 plus 6H2O plus 6CO2. Now, sixth experiment, Rubin-Kamen experiment. They use heavily but non-radioactive stable isotope of oxygen to prove that O2 evolved during the light reaction occurs from H2O and not from CO2. Now, light. Sunlight is the rain of photons of different frequencies. Visible light consists of radiations having a wavelength between 390 to 760 nanometer. Part of spectrum used in photosynthesis has a wavelength between 400 to 700 nanometer. It is called as photosynthetically active radiation, PAR. Now, location of photosynthesis. Photosynthesis occurs in green parts of plant, which contains green pigments called chlorophylls. Chlorophylls are present in chloroplasts. Chloroplasts are green subcellular organelle where photosynthesis occurs. Here is the structure of chloroplast. Now, photosynthetic pigments. There are substances which have ability to absorb light at specific wavelength. Color of leaf is decided by four pigments. First is chlorophyll A, bright or blue-green, primary photosynthetic pigment. Chlorophyll B, yellow-green. Xanthophylls yellow, carotenoid yellow to yellow-orange. Now, chlorophyll pigments. Chlorophyll has a tadpole-like structure. It consists of porphyrin head and phytol tail. Now, porphyrin head. All chlorophylls have a complex ring structure chemically related to porphyrin, like groups found in hemoglobin and cytochromes. Site of electrons rearranging when the chlorophyll is excited. A cyclic tetraporphyrin structure with non-ionic magnesium atom. Now, phytol tail. A long hydrocarbon tail is almost always attached to the ring structure. Anchors the chlorophyll to the hydrophobic phyton of the thylakoids. Major types of chlorophyll are chlorophyll A, B, C, D, and E. Bacteriochlorophyll and bacteriochlorophyll A and B, etc. Now, accessory pigments. All pigments other than chlorophyll A are called as accessory pigments. Two major roles of accessory pigments. They absorb light of different wavelengths and transfer energy to chlorophyll molecules. Thus, they are also called antenna molecules. This enables a wider range of wavelength of incoming light to be utilized for the photosynthesis. Then chlorophyll B accounts for about 1/4 of the total chlorophyll content. Now, second use is carotenoids protect plants from excessive heat and prevent photooxidation of chlorophyll pigments, so called as shield pigments. Now, absorption spectrum. Here you can see in this graph you can see chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B, and carotenoids. Then here action spectrum. Here you can see only one thing. Action spectrum closely resembles to the graph of chlorophyll A, showing it is a chief pigment. This graph shows most of the photosynthesis takes place in the blue and red region. Now, light reaction. The process of formation of high energy chemical intermediates like ATP and NADPH is known as light reaction, which includes the light absorption, water splitting, and release of oxygen. Now, photosynthetic units or photosynthetic pigments are of two types, photosystem 1 and photosystem 2. Both photosystems has reaction center of specific chlorophyll, a molecule which absorbs light energy of long wavelength. This center can release electron upon absorption of energy. PS1 has absorption peak at 700 nanometer, hence called P700, whereas PS2 has absorption peak at 680 nanometer, hence called as P680. Reaction center is surrounded by light harvesting pigments LHP called antenna molecules, absorb photons of different wavelength and send energy to the reaction. Then harvesting molecules occur in the form of specific complexes called light harvesting complexes called LHC1 and LHC2. Here PS1 has reaction center of P700, then LHC1 and LHC1 has LHP and proteins. Here PS2 has radioactive center P680 and LHC2 which contains LHP and proteins. Now major differences between PS1 and PS2. Here reaction center is P700. Here reaction center is P680. PS1 lines outer surface of thylakoids. Here PS2 lines the inner side of the thylakoids. Found in grana and stroma lamella. Here found in grana lamella only. Participates in cyclic and non-cyclic flow of electrons. It only participates in non-cyclic flow of electrons. Here not associated with splitting of water. It is associated with splitting of water and release of oxygen. Now production of assimilatory powers in photosynthesis. Assimilatory powers refer ATP and NADPH, term given by Arnon. Process of reduction of NADP into NADPH plus H plus ion called electrotransport system ETS. The process of formation of ATP from ADP and inorganic phosphate IP using light is known as photophosphorylation. Flow of electrons through ETS is linked to photophosphorylation, the electron transport. First is photophosphorylation, which has two types, non-cyclic photophosphorylation and cyclic photophosphorylation. First is non-cyclics. Involve both photosystem 1 and photosystem 2. They work in series. First PS2, then PS1. They are connected by electrotransport chain. Both ATP and NADPH plus H plus ion are synthesized by this kind of electron flow. First in PS2, P680 molecules observe 680 nanometer wavelength and excite electrons and jump into orbit, which further form the atomic nucleus. Now these electrons are picked by electron acceptor, which pass them to an electron transport system of cytochromes. Movement is downhill on redox potential scale. Now electrons are passed on the PS1 pigments. They are not used and sent to electron transport chain. Simultaneously, electrons of PS1 are excited by uptaking the 700 nanometer and moved downhill again to molecule of NADP plus. Addition of these electrons reduces the NADP plus to NADPH plus H plus ion. This whole process is called a jet scheme as it occurs in jet shape. Here you can see light is falling on LHC2 and LHC1. Here the electrons are excited and jump into electron acceptor. This is photosystem 2. And here is the electron transport system. These electrons are carried like this. Then again from here the electrons are transported to here. Here ATP is formed by ADP plus IB. Then here NADPH is formed by NADP plus then it occurs in jet shape, as you can see. So it is known as jet scheme of light. Now splitting of water. Electron removed from the PS2 are replaced by electron available due to splitting of water. Water splitting complex or oxygen evolving complex is associated with the PS2, which itself physically located on the inner side of membrane of thylakoid. Water is splitting into H plus O and electron. Protons and oxygen is released within the lumen of thylakoids. O2 is one of the net products of photosynthesis. 2H2O gives rise to 4H plus O2 plus 4 electrons. Now cyclic photophosphorylation. It only involves PS1 and only takes place in stroma lamella membrane. When only PS1 is functional, the electron circulates within the photosystem, and photophosphorylation occurs due to cyclic flow of electrons. Membrane or lamella of grana have both PS1 and PS2. The stroma lamella membrane lacks PS2 as well as NADP reductase enzyme. The excited electron does not pass on the NADP plus and is cycled back to the PS1 through electron transport chain. The cyclic phosphorylation also occurs when only light of wavelength beyond 680 nanometers are available for excitation. Here you can see light is falling on the chlorophyll of P700. Then electron are excited and went to the electron acceptor, and again they are returned to the chlorophyll by ETS. This is cyclic process. Chemosmotic hypothesis, which was given by P. Matchell, explains how ATP is synthesized in the chloroplast. ATP synthesis is linked to the development of a photon gradient across the membrane of the thylakoid, and proton accumulation is towards the inner side of the membrane, that is in the lumen. First is steps of chemosmosis. Photolysis of water towards the thylakoid lumen. Splitting of water molecules takes place on the inner side of membrane, so the hydrogen ions that are produced, they accumulate within the lumen of the thylakoids. Then transfer of H+ from the stroma to the lumen as electrons move through the photosystem. The primary acceptor of electron located towards the outer side of the membrane transfer electron to an H+ carrier, and this molecule then removes a photon from the stroma while supporting an electron. When this H+ carrier molecule passes on an electron to an electron carrier present on the inner side of membrane, the H+ is released into the lumen of the membrane. Then NADPH reductase reaction occurs towards the stroma. NADPH reductate enzyme located on the stroma side of the membrane. Proteins are necessarily for reduction of NADP+ to NADPH plus H+. Within the chloroplast, protons in stroma decreases the number. In lumen, there is accumulation of protons and decrease in pH of lumen, which creates a proton gradient across the thylakoid membrane. Breakdown of this gradient leads to release of energy. Breakdown occurs due to movement of protons across the membrane to the stroma through the transmembrane channel of CF0 of ATP synthase. ATP synthase enzyme is of two types, CF0 and CF1. CF0 is embedded in the membrane and forms transmembrane channel that carries out the facilitated diffusion of protons across the membrane. CF1 protrudes on the outer side of the thylakoid membrane on the side of that faces that stroma. Then breakdown of this gradient provides enough energy to cause a conformation change in the CF1 part of ATP synthase, which matures the enzyme synthesis several molecules of ATP. Chemosmosis requires a membrane, a proton pump, a proton gradient, and ATP synthase enzyme. Energy used to pump protons across the membrane into lumen, which creates a proton gradient across the membrane. ATP synthase enzyme has transmembrane channel that allows diffusion of protons back across the membrane, releases energy to activate ATP synthase enzymes, which catalyze the formation of ATP. Along with NADPH produced, the ATP is used in biosynthetic reaction taking place in the stroma, responsible for fixation of CO2 and synthesis of sugar. Arnon used the term assimilatory power for ATP and NADPH2, where NADPH alone is called as reducing power. Now, usage of ATP and NADPH. Products of light reaction, that is ATP and NADPH, are essential for assimilation of CO2 to carbohydrates, called biosynthetic phase of photosynthesis, occurs in stroma of chloroplast. This does not depend on light but depends upon products of light reaction, that is ATP and NADPH, hence called as dark reaction, and occurs through the Kelvin cycle and may be supported by C4 cycle and CAM cycle in certain plants. First, let us discuss about Kelvin cycle or C3 cycle, which is given by Melvin Kelvin. He used the radioactive carbon in algae photosynthesis studies and first saw CO2 fixation produced by 3-carbon organic acid. The first stable product identified was 3-phosphoglyceric acid, PGA, so-called C3 cycle. The Kelvin cycle occurs in all photosynthetic plants, whether they have C3 or C4 pathway. The primary acceptor molecules during the C3 cycle is 5-carbon ketose sugar, ribulose biphosphate, RUBB. The enzymes for CO2 fixation is Rubisco, that is ribulose biphosphate carboxylase oxygenase, and most abundant enzyme on the earth. Now, stages of Kelvin cycle or C3 cycle. First is carboxylation, fixation of CO2 into stable organic intermediate. Here CO2 is used for carboxylation of RuBP. It is catalyzed by an enzyme Rubisco. Then results in the formation of two molecules of 3-PGA or 3-phosphoglyceric acid. Now second step in this is reduction. It leads to formation of glucose. 2 molecules of ATP for photophosphorylation and 2 molecules of NADPH for reduction are used per molecule of CO2 fixation. Then fixation of 6 CO2 molecules and 6 turns of the cycle are required for removal of 1 molecule of glucose from the pathway. Now regeneration. For regeneration of CO2 acceptor molecule, 1 ATP of photophosphorylation from the 2 form RuBP. 1 molecule of glucose is made when 6 turns of the cycles are made. 18 ATP and 12 NADPH are used to make 1 glucose molecule. For every CO2 molecule entering Kelvin cycle, it requires 3 ATP and 2 NADPH are required. It is to meet the difference of ATP and NADPH that the cyclic phosphorylation takes place. Here you can see the cycle. First is carboxylation. Here then it forms 3-phosphoglyceric acid. Then here reduction occurs. It forms a starch or sucrose, which is triphosphate. And here regeneration occurs. ATP into ADP. Then ribulose 1,5 biphosphate is formed. And here from atmosphere CO2 is added with H2O water. And in reduction also you can see ADP plus NADPH is converted into ADP plus PI plus NADP plus. Now the C4 pathway or Hatch and Slack pathway. Hatch and Slack are scientists. The most of the plants that are in dry tropics have C4 pathway. For example, sugarcane, maize, sorghum, amaranthus, etc. Here a double fixation of CO2 occurs. The initial or first production of the pathway is 4-carbon compound, which is oxaloacetic acid OAA. The C4 pathway requires mesophyll cells and bundle sheath cells. Large cells around vascular bundles of C4 plants are called as bundle sheaths. Bundle sheaths have a number of chlorophyll, grana absent, thick walls, impervious to gaseous exchange, and no intercellular pressures. So this special anatomy of bundle sheaths is known as Kranz anatomy. Now process of C4 pathway. Cyclic process. Primary CO2 is acceptor. Acceptor is 3-carbon molecule, that is phosphoenol pyruvate PEP in mesophyll cells. The enzyme catalyzing is PEP carboxylase or PEPcase. The mesophyll cells of C4 plants lack enzyme Rubisco. The 4-carbon oxalic acetic acid is formed in the mesophyll cell itself and then transported to bundle sheath cells. The bundle sheath cells, these C4 acids are broken down to release CO2 and 3-carbon molecule structure, and CO2 release enter the C3 or Kelvin pathway. The bundle sheath cells are rich in Rubisco but lack PEPcase. 3-carbon molecule is carried back to the mesophyll cells where it is converted to PEP again with the help of a sensitive enzyme called PEP synthase, thus completing the cycle. Basic pathway result in formation of sugars, and Kelvic pathway is common in both C3 and C4 plants. The regeneration of PEP from the C3 acid requires 2 ATP. There is no gain or loss of NADPH in C4 cycle. ATP consumption in C4 plants. Here C4 plants require 2 ATP per CO2, C3 3 ATP, then total it needs 5 ATP per CO2 fixation. Here thus to form a hexose or to form 6 CO2, 6 into 5 ATP, we need 30 ATP are consumed. Here you can see the C4 cycle. Importance of C4 plants. Tolerate saline conditions because they can perform photosynthesis even if tomato is closed, and concentric arrangement of cells in leaf reduces the surface area to reduce the transpiration or water loss. Now major differences between C3 and C4 pathway. Primary acceptor of CO2 is RUBP, which has 5 carbon compound. Then primary acceptor of CO2 is REP, which is 3 carbon compound. Then first stable product is 3 carbon compound, which is 3 phosphoglycerol. Then here the first stable product is oxaloacetic acid, which is 4 carbon compound. It occurs in mesophyll cells of leaf. It occurs in mesophyll and bundle sheath in cells. It is slower process of CO2 fixation. It is faster process of CO2 fixation. 3 ATP are consumed to fix 1 CO2. Here 2 ATP are consumed to fix 1 CO2. Photorespiration. Loss of fixed carbon as CO2 in plants. Presence of light. It is known as it is in chloroplast. Does not produce any ATP or NADPH, and it is known as wasteful process. The photorespiration or C2 cycle involves 3 organelles, that is chloroplasts, peroxisomes and mitochondria. In C4 plants, photorespiration does not occur because these plants have a mechanism that increases the concentration of CO2 at the enzyme site. Now let us discuss about factors affecting the photosynthesis. External factors like sunlight, temperature, CO2 concentration, water are affected. Internal factors: number, size, age and orientation of leaves, mesophyll cells and chloroplasts. Then internal concentration of CO2, amount of chlorophyll, then are the factors affecting the photosynthesis. Scientist Blackman gave the law of limiting factors, which state that if a chemical process is affected by more than one factor, then its rate will be determined by the factor which is nearest to its mineral value. This factor which directly affects the process of if its quantities change is known as limiting factor. So Blackman gave this law of limiting factor. So we have completed the lesson photosynthesis in plants. Thank you.